Croeso I bysgota Cymru. Welcome to Fishing in Wales.
So another fishing adventure is underway at this incredible place. This is Llandegfedd reservoir in South Wales, 434 acres of it. And today's adventure is very special indeed because I'm meeting up with a couple of good mates somewhere over there. I've got this fine fellow, Gruff Manuel, on the engine. So Gruff, take it away. Off we go. So isn't this place absolutely glorious? To my right, I've got one of the very best specimen anglers, all-rounders in the country in Chris Ponsford. We've got Deggy Dave, the local expert, on the peg to my left, and on the end peg, a very familiar character indeed. Well, Des, fancy seeing you here?
Well, Andy, it's amazing, isn't it, that I spoke to you the other day about it. Oh, there was a bite.
Oh.
That was a proper jaggy little bite. I've got a couple of roach in my peg at the moment, I think. I've just had one like 8, 9, probably maybe even 10 ounces. Yeah, amazing. I mean, what a place to fish, Andy, really. When I used to go fishing when I was in my teens with my brother, we used to go to a place called Ashton Keynes, which is on the Cotswold Water Park. And you know as well as I do. Oh, Andy,
You've missed
that.
It.
And it's they're gravel pits.
Yeah, crystal clear.
Crystal clear. I mean, not as big as this, admittedly. I mean, the lakes I used to fish were big, but this is on a different scale, isn't it? I think it's just like sort of like
434 acres.
Yeah, only a little puddle, really. You start to hear about all these places, you know. And I remember sat at home going for my phone, and I thought, this Llandegfedd. And I thought Llandegford, whatever it is. Got that wrong, didn't I? It is Llandegford.
It is.
That's it. That's
it's close.
The one. Yeah,
it's pretty close.
It's close enough. And I thought, I've got to give it a go. And when I come here, I thought, dear, look at the size of it. It's a bit daunting, really. Yeah. But when you actually start fishing it, and the hybrids, you know, I've just caught hybrids today, and it's just something completely different to what I'm used to.
You talk about hybrids, and of course, Ireland's famous for hybrid fishing, bream and these sort of roach bream hybrids, which we don't see in many places. But to have a piece of water like this is almost like, well, old-fashioned Irish fishing.
It's what I call proper fishing. You know, when you're on fish on here, it is fantastic. And you know, you can fish big hooks, heavy lines. It's not finesse fishing, really. I mean, the finesse part of it comes down to actually getting the fish in your peg and then getting them on the hook, sort of thing. Yeah, and Dave's obviously been fishing it for some years. You know, he's obviously seen the potential of what this place can offer people. You know, not just matches, but pleasure fishing as well.
It's funny because I was speaking to a couple of people before coming today, Dave, and they said, the person you need to speak to is Deggy Dave.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good name.
And you very kindly baited up for us, but to be honest, it looks like you're doing the business here, because you know what I really like is we've got one of the most competitive anglers I've ever seen fishing to your left.
Yeah.
And you're giving him a right spanking here.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of being lucky on the day. Knowing the place helps as well, I think.
Look at this fella. Aren't they glorious fish? Just fantastic. This place is special, Dave.
I mean, this is the average stamp. You're talking £3.12 to sort of low 4s. It's a smaller one, but that's your average stamp of the bream in this place.
And your tactics, you know, pretty simple. Couple of maggots.
Yeah.
Feeder full of
three or
ground
four
bait.
maggots, front-loaded feeder, just to aid, especially if the wind picks up. Little boom. I'm actually fishing a little tiny bolt rig there today, only about an inch. Twizzle boom on the end, and then just a shorter hook length then. As with a bream, they tend to they'll sit there. They don't tend to move off as quick as the hybrid, so you don't get the sort of big charging bites. So I find that the short hook lengths help a lot with the bream, especially getting hookups.
And just keep casting. You were saying a minute ago, you've just got to keep the food going in.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're not getting bites, the worst thing you can do is stop casting. So
Yeah.
um,
So me coming over and talking to you is the worst thing I can do for my swim then?
yeah, potentially, yeah.
Never mind. Chris, it's lovely to see you here.
And lovely to see you, boy. I haven't seen you for a while.
A silly question, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Why'd
Yeah.
you come?
Well, you know me, I love my wild fishing. You know, rivers, big reservoirs. You know, the older I've got, I just love my fishing so much. But I like to be in really wild, big places. Hardly anyone here. I mean, it absolutely suits me great, you know. But here, you can come here and you can have some amazing days. But also, you can have some blooming hard days, you know.
Yeah.
And you can be catching fish, you know. And then it just dies a death. The fish just sort of swim away, you know.
Well, you've kind of had a day a little bit like that today, haven't you?
I've had a day exactly like that today, yeah. In fact, it started off pretty good, you know. There was fish in the peg, and I caught 8 bream. I thought, well, this is all right. We're doing good here. And then they said, goodbye. Yeah, we're having a nice day. The weather's, dare I say it? No, I can't say it.
Don't tempt it, because I said to Desmondo earlier on,
Yeah.
I know we're in the kind of teeth of potentially a really nasty bit of weather coming in from over there.
Sure.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So far, so
Yeah,
good.
so far so good.
So let's talk a little bit about the kit that's being used today. It's feeder fishing, so the rod I'm using is a 13-foot feeder rod with a 2-ounce tip. Braided mainline though. The reason we're using braid here again is because it's deep water and you're fishing at quite a decent distance. So you're trying to fish with 0 stretch, and you need that control over your cast, but also in terms of bite registration, because braid doesn't stretch. Any time any fish picks up your bait kind of 50 metres out, you're going to see an indication on your tip. The terminal tackle, so a hook length of about 50 centimetres in length, size 14 barbless hook, and you can probably see I've got 3 maggots on there. And just a little bit further down, here is my feeder. This is a 40-gram feeder. It's a twizzled loop just below it, and that just kicks the hook length away so that you get fewer tangles. Free running. I'm just going to fill that with ground bait, chuck it out there and hope to get a bite. Well, it's been great to listen to all of the guys and their enthusiasm for this fantastic place. I'm not going to say it's entirely Chris Ponsford's fault, because he did talk about how lovely the weather is. We did know that there was some nasty weather coming in, and here it is. It's just arrived the last couple of minutes. Ironically, just as I've started to get a few bites, I've been spending so much time speaking to Dave and Des and Chris that I've not been spending enough time fishing, putting enough bait in the water to bring in that shoal of bream. And I've actually been concentrating on fishing rather than talking for the last, say, 20 minutes or so. And as I've started to put more bait in, I've started to get a few indications. Well, this is what happens when you go fishing with this lot. Mr. Ponsford, Mr. Healy and Mr. Ship, many congratulations. I may not have pulled my weight here today, but I did turn up late in fairness, and they had been at it for a while when I got here.
Brought the rain with you, mate.
Thanks very much, mate. I didn't mean to. The weather's dreadful, but the fishing is fantastic. When you get a venue that's got fish of this quality, bream like this one that Dave's holding, and this hybrid that Des has got in his hand. And there's bigger ones than that in here, mate, aren't
I
there?
reckon they're born this size, Andy. Maybe a bit smaller. I've had quite a few sort of 12-ounce fish, but you know, you can just imagine that's probably half the size, if not.
Wonderful.
You know, what you could catch.
Well, look, let's get these wonderful creatures back into the reservoir. I'll tell you one thing for certain. I'm coming back. This place is incredible. Thanks very much, fellas.
Thank you.
Off to the pub for a pint, I think.
Yeah.
Discover fishing in Wales